Hey, welcome to another instructional video by Hamskea Archery Solutions. Today we're going to be talking about the VersaRest, one of my favorite products that we've produced so far. And by now you probably have your VersaRest in front of you, laid out on your bench. So what we're going to do today is walk you through how to install the VersaRest on your bow and all the different configurations that the VersaRest has to offer. So you've received your VersaRest in a package like this, so let's just go through the contents of the package. And first off, you're going to get your rest already configured from the factory. It's going to be configured with the AccuGuide launcher right here to include a pre-installed rear arrow guide here that's movable. As we walk around the rest, you'll see the lever arm that's already mounted for the limb actuated top limb conversion, and we'll talk about how to change that for the bottom limb. It will also come with the up, down, and the windage already in place as well, and we'll be adjusting those as we go along, mounting them on the bow and getting your center shot. And then the set screw that goes on the riser bar that we'll talk about and ultimately install last. Next we have the bag. So we have the rest, now we have the bag of goodies, and we're going to go through the contents of the bag of goodies. So let's just dump it out and see what we have. First off, we have a couple of these arrow guides, the claw and the arrow trough. We will mount those to the front of the riser if need be, so we'll do that later. We have a couple of the additional launchers, the blade and what we call the target launcher. We have the pre-cut felt that goes on the Accu launcher that's pre-mounted from the factory on your rest. An additional piece of felt to put on your rest to deaden all the sound and make it quiet. We have the heavy-duty riser bar mounting bolt that is oversized to make sure you can get enough torque on it without ripping your hand apart. We have an additional bolt here that goes along with the limb clamp system. The limb clamp system also has some non-skid pads that go in between here, the buffered spring, and the BCY Halo 30,000s cable. And this additional bolt here is to accommodate thicker limbs, like solid limbs on a Elite bow or on even a Matthews bow. So those are very important for the limb actuated. We also have the opposite wound torsion spring, and we'll talk about how to install this and when to install this. And that really comes into play when you're setting your VersaRest up for the conventional fall away mode. We have the nylon 832 screw that goes in the front position, that is the down position or stop position for the launcher, and that's really to make things really quiet if you find that the metal screw is a little too loud. We always have this as an option. We have the cord that comes with it, so if you want to set it up in the cable actuated or the conventional fall away modes, we include this cord that goes with that. And then lastly, we have the instructions here that you can read over and over again if you'd like, or you can obviously get all this information online on our website or on YouTube. So let's just get to mounting the rest on the bow and get you to it right away. So now we got the bow set up in the vise. Let's go ahead and start installing the VersaRest. Just going to mount it right here with our heavy-duty riser mounting bolt. I want to touch on a real quick subject in that your VersaRest comes configured from the factory in the settings and positions that we find are most common between all the bows. Make sure you set up your VersaRest with the factory settings first and then make your adjustments afterwards, after you've had a few rounds through it. So we have this VersaRest mounted. We're just going to give it a quick crank, and what we're going to do next is we're going to set our center shot. Obviously every bow is a little different and everyone sets their center shot a little different. In this particular case, we're just going to go through the demonstration and the features of the VersaRest on how it applies to you being able to set up your center shot. So we just mounted it on the bow, obviously, and we're going to put this arrow in here. Now I'm not going to center shot adjust this particular rest, but I'll show you what you need to do. Obviously you're going to adjust your windage adjustment here on top and then your elevation adjustment here on the side for center shot. If you find out that you run out of room, i.e. you can't move the rest over anymore, what's nice about the VersaRest is now you can move the AccuLauncher over a set and then in either direction and then adjust your center shot to make sure that this portion, which is your center, your left to right adjustment screw, is in the area of the oval or the adjustment area that you like. I personally like it in the middle. To do that, you would remove this nylon grub that's on the inside, move the 10/32 windage bolt over to that hole and replace this hole with the grub, and then you ultimately have the flexibility to adjust your center shot and where all this hardware is to your personal liking. That's one of the great features about the VersaRest, and we'll talk some more about others later. That's pretty much all I want to mention about center shot, so let's just get on to getting the limb actuated portion mounted, and that show you how easy that is. So let's talk about the limb clamp system that we have for the VersaRest. Right here you can see we have the top portion of the clamp and the bottom portion of the clamp, and these two clamp pads that go in between. These are non-skid, non-marring to protect the finish of your target bow limb or your hunting bow. It has the dampening coil, which is very important. As we mentioned earlier, helps with the bounce back of the launcher, which introduces additional fletching interference problems. And obviously the tethering cord, which is the BCY 30,000 Halo. So we're going to assemble this on the top limb, and let's just get